round one Crankworx Rotorua, Sweden's Martin Soderstrom took the dual speed and style win in commanding fashion and looked to be taking a run at the title. But this is mountain biking and happens, and Soderstrom's hope for the season vanished. At round two in Innsbruck, slopestyler Thomas Lemoine notched the big W. Then, at Crankworx Leger, round three of the dual speed and style battle went to American MTB OG Kyle Strait. 3 events, 3 winners. But consistency is king. And England's Sam Reynolds leads the points towards the title. So that brings us here. One final race to decide the dual speed and style world championships. The Clif Dual Speed and Style presented by Muc-Off.
Well, take a look at this man right here, the rider who's currently leading the World Tour ranking for the overall season here in dual speed and style. That is Sam Reynolds. Now, if he wants to be the champion, he's going to have to be on point today because Kyle Strait is breathing down his neck, only 5 points behind.
Yeah, Sam Reynolds has yet to take a win this season, but if he wins here tonight, he will guarantee himself that title.
He's been very, very consistent all season, and he's typically a guy who does well when we have some adverse conditions. Today we got a little bit of rain falling, but the course that we have, Andrew, all dirt, no wooden takeoffs, so it's just going to make those corners tacky and see who can rise to the surface when weather starts to play a part.
Yeah, if there's a course that needs rains, it's probably this one. It really, like you said, it tacks up, and there are no wooden lips, so the riders don't have to be afraid about slipping on takeoffs or anything like that.
Well, it's been a long world tour. Here we are where it all began, the epicenter of mountain biking, Whistler, British Columbia, for stop number 4. But after the first 3 stops, this is what our dual speed and style standings currently look like.
Yeah, as we said, Sam Reynolds, but only 5 points back is Kyle Strait. Martin Soderstrom, unfortunately, won't be here. But we cannot count on someone like Thomas Lemoine, because with a win and Sam Reynolds or Kyle Strait not placing too high, he can take that title.
Yeah, 5 points is not a very big lead. So Kyle Strait only behind by 5 points. If he's on point today, what does he need to do to take the overall series standings?
Well, as you can see, Cam, he needs a first or a second. But if he goes and gets a second, he needs to hope that Sam Reynolds is worse than him. It's kind of up to those two. It's in their own hands. All
right, well, if you were with us just a year ago, this may be a memory that you have in the back of your mind, but things are going to look a lot different today. Adrien Lerone was unstoppable going up against Thomas Slavik in the final. He ended up taking the lead, but take a look at what happened here today in the round of 32.
Yeah, our reigning king of Crankworx, he was on fire last year. This year, had a little bit of pressure put on him. This is in the first round here, the round of 32. He would go on and make an error and miss a gate and be DQ'd, and he will not be in the round of 16. So he will not go on to have any fight for that title here tonight.
As you can see, that final straightaway is heavy. Making those gates is key. A lot of people missing gates in the preliminaries. That was Caleb Halanko knocking out Adrien Lerone. But take a look at this guy. So consistent in any of the events that he signs up for here, Thomas Lemoine.
Well, speaking of King of Crankworx, he's currently sitting in 2nd place. He's also coming off a win in Innsbruck this year in dual speed and style. We'll see him later in the week in pump track, hopefully, and the slopestyle. So he has a lot of events that he can amass points for that King of Crankworx.
And that's what's great about having dual speed and style an entire week before slopestyles. You see some of those slopestyle specific riders deciding to sign up for this because they have plenty of time, and it's not going to hinder any of their practice time for slopestyle. Now, if you guys want to get involved in the action, you're excited by what you've seen so far, head over to fantasy.crankworx.com. You get a budget, you have to build your team just like fantasy football. I went on and built my team. You have to be crafty. I spent a lot of money here on Thomas Lemoine, $9,700. So I had to go a little bit more with the dark horses for my slot 3 and slot number 4. Of course, my slot number 1, I went with Barry Nobles. Never count that guy out. He was doing double flips in qualifying, but I went with Caleb Halanko and DJ Brandt because they're looking really good and they're affordable. So I'm hoping that I win because we had some good prizing up for grabs today.
Well, I like what you've done with those wild cards, man. The Caleb went on a takedown, Adrien Lerone missing that gate, so who knows? He's already through to the round of 16. You could get some points out of him.
Well, I want more than points. I want to win the prize. For more on what's up for grabs for the fantasy contest today, let's send it down to Michaela Gatto.
So I'm here with Casey Brown. She's currently sitting in second overall for the Queen of Crankworx standings, and a little bit of an enduro racer, free racer. We've got a little neat thing here. What's going on?
Yeah, we got the Crankworx Fantasy League prize. So Belle and Clif have partnered up, and we're giving away this full 9 helmet that's been painted by a local artist. They've commissioned a local artist to paint this thing. It's got an octopus on it. Looks really cool. And yeah, if you want to sign up online for the Crankworx Fantasy League, this baby could be yours.
And so that is the prize win for today. If you don't get to win this, you can still check out her art at Andrea Mueller Art on Instagram. And man, good luck out there.
Right on, thanks, Michaela. Fingers crossed, that's a pretty killer prize. One of a kind, unique artwork on that helmet. But definitely, this competition format is something that never disappoints, and it's a great way to kick off Crankworx Whistler for 2018. Run me through it, Andrew.
Yeah, it's like a slalom. You go on each course, but you've also got a trick bonus, so it's not only about your time, it's how well you can trick. Lowest combined run of those 2 scores will advance. Your 2017 champ, Jacob Ventel, is not here, unfortunately, but man, we've got some action-packed stacked field here.
Definitely one of my favorite events of the entire festival out here. So now that you see how it works, let's take a look at who our competitors are today.
Well, none other than the OG, Kyle Strait, who's sitting in second place. He's going up against Cam Zink. But let's scroll down there. We've got the likes of Thomas Janan coming from Slopestyle against Slavik. Lower down, Daryl Brown, who's won an event here before. DJ Brandt's going up against him. And none other than Barry Nobles against Sam Reynolds. And that's only in the first round that you're going to see all these heavy hitters. There's still a lot to come.
Looking forward to that last round because Barry Nobles has been going nuts in qualification, and Sam Reynolds has such an opportunity to clinch this overall. So let's hear more from Sam Reynolds.
So I'm with Sam Reynolds here. You had a little bit of a mixed bag in Rotorua at the dual speed and style, but you came back, you got a second in Innsbruck, a third in Leger, and now we're here in Whistler, and you have the #1 plate for the overall.
Apparently so, yeah, quite scary, but yeah, feels cool.
So you used to, I know you as a slopestyle guy, but there is a lot of speed involved in speed and style. How did you learn gate starts? Did you do anything specific to practice or train for this event?
Honestly, no. I just really like it, actually. It's going fast, which I like doing at home. Wouldn't call it training, just bombing around the woods. But yeah, I used to race 4-cross a long time ago, so maybe I remember gate starts from them, but I was never very good. And I'm still not that good, but somehow, yeah, I seem to be here #1, so don't know what's going on, really.
I would say you're pretty good. I would,
Actually, even Slavik said that. He's like, man, your gates are getting pretty good. And I was like, whoa. From him, he's like #1 gator.
Well, I mean, that's...
I try my best anyway.
Yeah. I think you're just doing a little humble dance over here. I think this guy's got what it takes to win today. So best of luck.
Thanks very much. I'll try my best.
Well, thanks, Michaela. I mean, he sounds like he's ready to rock. If you're not excited by this point, then there's something wrong with you. We got an amazing speed and style track, the best riders in the world, series overall up for grabs. This is the Clif Dual Speed and Style presented by Muc-Off, and it starts right now.
It's not just a mountain bike festival now, like this is getting bigger and bigger.
The crowd is going wild out there.
It doesn't get much better than that.
It's one of the biggest things that has happened to the sport in the last 10 years, for sure.
What a huge run.
We could have a new leader here.
The vibe here is what really makes the finale so special.
Oh, just barely too short.
Well, there we have it. What better way to kick off the final stop of the 2018 season? It's all about going fast. It's all about making it look good in the air. So much strategy involved with this form of competition. You got to be quick. You got to decide what trick to do at the right time. Let's take a look at who our first bracket's going to be. Of course, we went over it earlier. That's Kyle Strait in the gate on the left side of your screen going up against you know, no big deal. His best friend, Cameron Zink, on the right side. Two guys who have been around the block, guys who have stood on the podium in this form of competition. And of course, when it's bracketed racing, you could always end up going against your best friend, and only one can make it into the next round.
That you can, and it seems like there's a lot of old school legends against some of these new up-and-coming riders that we're going to see now focusing on the sport of dual speed and style. But before we see those new kids we speak of, these are two of the oldest, most distinguished riders in Crankworx history.
I'm glad you said distinguished,
Zink
not
and
decrepit.
Carl.
That's good, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, they're becoming a bit decrepit, I think, with all the crashes they've taken.
So Cameron Zink on the right side of your screen, just coming off of a dislocated shoulder before he drove up here to Whistler. Let's see if he can put the pain aside.
Even out the gate there for both these riders. What are we going to see? Cam Zink with a front flip.
Cameron Zink told me that he definitely wouldn't be doing front flips today, but you can never believe him when he's talking about taking it easy, because he never seems to be able to convince himself that taking it easy is a good idea.
Flip from Kyle Strait, another flip from Cam Zink. It looked like he wanted to do something else there on that flip.
Yeah, he's got some new variations that he's been learning specifically for dual speed and style. Kyle Strait will cross the finish line first, 2.35 ahead of Cameron Zink. But of course, the way this format works is those tricks. The biggest trick is going to score more points, which is then going to have more time shaved off the clock. So let's take a look back at the replay, Andrew.
So big tricks from both these guys.
Backflip bar spin there for Kyle Strait, so playing good defense, but that front flip traditionally scores very high.
And this is where Kyle Strait put a bit of work into Cam Zink through those flags. It's really technical. We're going to see, like we've told you in the pre-show, Adrian Larong is already out of the comp because of missing a flag.
All right, well, we're waiting on the judges to determine which tricks were better, and that, of course, is going to decide how much time gets taken off of each one of these riders' score here. Kyle Strait with a 75 for the backflip bar spin. Cam Zink with also a 75, so even on the first jump, and then even on the second jump as well. So it just comes down to a race there. Cameron Zink crossed the finish line, 2.35 behind Kyle Strait. So that will be the deficit he has to make up when they get to the top of the course and they switch sides. Well, next in the gate right now, we got Caleb Halanko on the left, a young gun, new talent against Tyler McCall on the right.
So these are the new guns we spoke of. You know a little bit about these guys, Cam.
So that's my brother there on the right side of your screen wearing the yellow jersey. That's why I know a thing or two about him. But I'm a big fan of this kid on the left side of your screen there, Caleb Halanko. Definitely a talented rider who does it all. He gets on the long travel freeride bike, but he's a ripper on slopestyle as well, climbing the ranks.
And he's out there putting a bit of work into your brother Tyler here. Tyler needs to make up some ground here, but he's also got to get a big trick in. Oh, he's going to make up some ground there with a flip. Caleb didn't get any trick out on the second jump.
Which is surprising. Caleb Halanko has a lot of tricks, but Tyler McCall crossing the finish line only 0.62 behind Halanko. So that second jump is definitely going to play a part there. Tyler getting a trick, but Caleb not. So let's take a look back at the replay, and I'm just really impressed by the bike handling skills from this young kid, Caleb Halanko.
Couldn't agree more, man. There was big commitment in that berm. Really leaning over. And he's not shabby down here in the last corners as well. Something happened though. He's a little bit late coming here into this jump and didn't get a trick on that last jump, so that will hurt him against Tyler.
Now, Caleb Halanko already doing well out here today. He knocked out Adrian Larone. We saw that clip at the beginning of the broadcast where Adrian Larone missed the gate there. So backflip no footer for Tyler McCall, only scoring a 45. The judges liking the variation from Halanko more on that first jump. But not getting a trick on the second jump for Caleb means that minus 50. That means they're going to actually add some time on based on that score.
So it really, really hurts a rider if he cannot trick on these jumps. Tyler McCall really used those tricks to his advantage.
So Tyler McCall will work his way back up to the top of the course and have the advantage going into run number 2 where they switch courses. Let's take a look right now. In the gate, Tom van Steenburgen in that black and white jersey going up against Garrett Meacham, a young gun from Aptos, California, deciding that he loves speed and style after trying his first race at the first stop of this season in Rotorua, New Zealand.
Yeah, we were talking to some riders. Me and you were talking before, and you're saying he's really focusing on dual speed and style as an event and kind of as a career.
He's a rider who's pretty much good at any discipline he tries, not just on the mountain bike, but on the motorcycle. Wow.
Wow, so flip double bar spin from what I can see to a flip bar spin there, Cam.
A flip tuck to bar there from
man.
Tom van Steenburgen, but Garrett holding his own against Tom van Steenburgen, a rider who's been on the scene a whole lot longer than Lil Red Garrett Meacham. Flip tuck from Tom van Steenburgen, a 360 for Garrett.
Yeah, great tricks from these guys. Garrett's losing a bit of time here in the last flag, so he really is going to need to make it up in the next round. Great tricks from Tom as well. I mean, he's known to throw double backflips in the dual speed and style.
The hardest thing for Tom van Steenburgen in this format is just deciding what tricks to do because he has so much to choose from. But I think he was choosing wisely there, getting those backflip combinations. The judges typically score those flip combos really high, especially if you're doing two separate tricks while flipping. Take a look at this one.
Yeah, you're right. So he got the tuck in there before the bar spin. That is a great trick. Another one down the bottom as well. So scoring 90 on the first jump versus Garrett's 75 and a 70 on the second jump versus the 42. And that's why you see that big differential, Cam.
Yeah, well, if you cross the finish line first and you have big combos, better tricks than your opponent, you're going to be sitting with a 2-second advantage going into the second round. So Garrett's going to have some work to do once they switch courses. Let's take a look at our brackets so far. Now, we'll remind you how this works. Those names that are illuminated in yellow, those are the riders who are heading back to the top of the course with the advantage. All right, next heat in the gate. Another case of a young gun up against an established veteran. The established veteran being Greg Watts on the right side of your screen, but David Lieb on the left from the Midwest. A rider who's no stranger to the skate park, but has been raising a lot of downhill, and this kid has so many tricks in the slopestyle realm. Oh!
My word, legend against newcomer here, but Greg Watts, no stranger to the podium here to dual speed and style. Keeping it pretty even here. Oh, dropping a foot there. Greg Watts, the veteran, what can he pull out? So 360 versus flip. I didn't see if there was a combo there. Keeping it tight here, man. You can see how technical these gates are. These guys can't push too hard. You will make a mistake, and you don't want to miss a gate.
Tight racing through the finish line here. Now, immediately when I took a look at this course for the first time, I thought, you know what, I think this is a course that Greg Watts could do really well on. He's looking strong, isn't he?
He really is, man. He's coming off some podiums this year already, so he's got back some confidence. And he has so many tricks. It's kind of the same as Tom. What tricks is he going to throw out? What sort of combos will he go for on these jumps?
You mentioned Greg having some good results this year. He was third place in Innsbruck. Stop number 2 of the season. So he's already had a podium. Now David Lieb, this is definitely a rider that I'm excited to see try and speed and style because it's right up his alley. All right, take a look at this replay here. Backflip bar spin for David Lieb. And Greg adding to that, it looked like a backflip, potentially double bar spin. He also does it where he does a backflip bar spin, a bar spin back. The judges love those combos. They gave him a 95 for Greg's first trick, a 70 for the second jump. So Greg Watts will have the advantage moving in to their next round when they switch courses and do it all over again. So Greg lights his name up in yellow. He's looking good, but take a look at these brackets we have still to come. Thomas Inanen versus Thomas Slavik. Whole lot more here in the round of 16 at the Clif Dual Speed and Style.
We're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
Dose.ca, your entertainment fix. Well, we're back to beautiful Whistler, British Columbia for day number 1 of competition here at the overall World Tour Finals. We got Clif Dual Speed and Style presented by Muc-Off today. And of course, first Saturday always brings a little bit of weather. We had some rain showers, but the sun is popping now. Perfect dirt out there for these competitors, and take a look at the cast of characters we have on hand today.
Well, it's so great to see Thomas Inanen here in dual speed and style. We don't see him all the time because he's focusing so heavily on slopestyle, but he's got his work cut out. He's going against none other than Thomas Slavik, a previous king of Crankworx.
Well, a couple Toms here in the gate, but the one with the orange fork there on the left side of your screen, that's Thomas Inanen. Thomas Slavik getting the gate start there,
So
as we would
Thomas
expect.
Inanen with a 360 bar spin to table, but Slavik, no slouch, is very far ahead out the gate already.
Now Slavik is going to excel here in the race portion, but Inanen, a guy who's won Red Bull Joyride 6 years ago, is going to be putting the tricks down, missing the tuck no-hander there. He was looking for a variation, but he's holding tight to Thomas Slavik.
Yeah, he's really keeping slow, very honest here into the finish, so that is great. We kind of knew he would be a little bit behind someone like Thomas Slavik because he's doing no tricks, just speed, but Inanen was fast as well.
Well, Thomas Inanen rides a lot of trail these days, so he's really good with traction, control, looking ahead. Not a guy that came from a race background, but as you can see, only a half second behind Thomas Slavik, holding his own. That's what it's all about in dual speed style.
Yeah, he's really composed except for the last bit. I mean, he's just really not pushing too hard, making sure that he's not late on any of his turners. You can see through here, holding very close, not pushing, not getting too aggressive, and it's really paying out. Thomas Slavik, though, with the bunny hop between gates there.
Just barely holding on there in the final straightaway, but anytime you cross that finish line that close as Thomas Slavik, you're doing something right. Let's take a look back at our tricks.
So we saw him with the Barsman 360 looking for a table. He got kind of a half a table, but they awarded him 82 points. Not bad versus the 0 for Thomas Slavik.
The judges not liking those teeny tiny tricks from Thomas Slavik. When you're as fast as him, you may be able to get away with it until they calculate those numbers. Thomas Inanen will be the leader. Thomas Slavik will have a little bit over a second to make up. Well, back up to the top. Take a look at this guy right here. A guy who's sitting second place in the overall King of Crankworx standings at the moment. Of course, he's getting points from a lot of different disciplines, but especially dual speed and style. Take a look back at stop number 2, where he took the win for the second year in a row in Innsbruck.
Yeah, he would take down our leader, current leader Sam Reynolds, but Thomas Lemoine, another one of these slope styles, it's just such a great bike handler. You can just see in his technique and the speed he has, not just the big tricks.
Well, he was downright unstoppable there. You could tell halfway through the event that it would take him making a mistake for him not to win the gold on that day. So he's on the right side of your screen right now, going up against Bas van Steenburgen, a very fast and stylish rider, but typically doesn't have a lot of tricks to offer, so this should be interesting.
Thomas Lemoine with a good snap as well.
Oh!
So Bas just opting for the knack-knack. That's not going to score high here.
A backflip double bar spin for Lemoine. That's definitely going to help out, even if he doesn't cross the finish line first. Bas van Steenburgen with a hefty lead right now.
Yeah, this is where he does excel, though. Oh! Scrubs knack-knack, and he's really ahead here, holding tight to these gates. But Thomas Lemoine knows he's got a lot of time that he can get back through all those big tricks.
Lemoine crossing the finish line, 1.6 behind Bas van Steenburgen. Now the strategy for Van Steenburgen is basically race the track. If you're doing those little tiny tricks like the knack-knacks and the X-ups like Slavik and Van Steenburgen are doing right now, you can stay lower, you can carry more speed, so of course you're going to cross the finish line first. But take a look now, once we run those replays and we take a look back at the scores that the judges decide on, I gotta think we're gonna be seeing some zeros for Van Steenburgen. Here we go, the right side of your screen here, a backflip double bar spin from Lemoine, scores him a 90.
But that is huge, Cam, compared to a 10. So we all knew that Bas wasn't gonna get scored much. He got a 10 again on the bottom. Thomas Lemoine with another 90. I mean, that is big, big tricks.
So if Lemoine keeps up the pace that he's on right now, and he keeps doing those tricks, scoring 90s, he's going to be looking real good advancing into next rounds. But of course, only one mistake could knock you out for the entire day. So right now, Lemoine having the advantage once they make it to the top. Let's take a look back at these brackets right now. We have 2 more heats to go in the round of 16.
Daryl Brown against another newcomer, DJ Brandt, but then Barry Nobles against Sam Reynolds. That could be a semi-final, if not a final. So that is going to be an exciting matchup, and obviously Sam Reynolds, there's a lot more pressure on him. But before we get there, Daryl Brown, a previous winner of a dual speed in style, qualified fastest in Leger at the last round. Kind of a crash and burn type rider. He's either going to go out winning or he's going to go home with a lot of blood.
And then DJ Brandt on the right side of your screen, a guy who's known for his slopestyle skills, but just got an invitation to Red Bull Rampage. This is the first time I remember seeing him in a speed and style.
Man, that's incredible that he's going to Red Bull Rampage. Big time free rider, but throwing his name in the hat here in dual speed and style. Daryl Brown is deceptively fast on these courses with tricks. Big 360 tuck no-hander.
Well, huge 360 double bar spin from DJ Brandt, as we saw from the last heat. That scores a 90. There we go. DJ Brandt crossing the finish line behind Daryl Brown by 1.3. But the tricks he was throwing were something that could take him into the lead here for run number 1 against Daryl Brown. Right now, we're looking at the people who are deciding what numbers to assign to these tricks you're seeing flying high through the sky. Not an easy job.
No, that's an absolutely incredible job that those judges do. Having to get that all calibrated so quickly, get the scores down here so that we can get racing underway.
By the time we had the camera on them, they were already done scoring, because right now we're looking at the scores. Daryl Brown on the left of the backflip, tuck no-hander getting a 70, but DJ Brandt bettering that with a 75, but it's all about this 360 double bar spin right here.
Yeah, those combos, like you said, are going to score high, so 90 there is big time, but he's still behind. Daryl Brown put the speed on it.
Well, Daryl Brown, he just has those 2 tricks, and he hasn't switched it up for the last couple years. They work so well for him because he is so fast. But this is that heat we've been talking about since the start of the show.
And from what I can see, Barry Nobles might have body armor under that jersey. I'm not quite sure. Sam Reynolds on your rider's left there.
Well, this is the 4th of 4 stops on the Crankworx World Tour. Of course, we started Southern Hemisphere in New Zealand. We had 2 European stops, and that's how those guys got those points. Of course, if you win the event, you're going to have 150 points. If you get 10th, you're going to get 10 points. Sam Reynolds hasn't won an event yet, but he's racked up 205 points, currently sitting in that top spot overall. But it all comes down to this. If he gets knocked out right now by Barry Nobles, a guy who seems to be throwing caution to the wind today, then it could come to a screeching halt and leave the door open for Kyle Strait or some of the other riders who are sitting there.
Exactly, man. Sam Reynolds has been saying he's always just having fun riding his bike. Well, now the pressure is on, so we're going to see how he handles that.
Barry Nobles goes to the double backflip,
and he doesn't land it. Oh. Sam Reynolds, a consummate professional. He saw that out of the corner of his eyes, man.
Well, you know Sam Reynolds is just proud of Barry Nobles for going for that.
That is a huge trick to try throw down. We kind of thought it was going to happen. I'm hoping he had that body armor that I thought he might have under his shirt. So Sam Reynolds, really good sportsmanship. He stopped. He knows that he's going to get the maximum differential here, but he's got to get to the bottom and he's got to get clean. So that's good news for Sam Reynolds, because he is here for one thing and one thing only, and that is to advance as far as he can and try to take that title.
Barry Nobles was swinging for the fences here. I had a feeling he might try that at some point tonight. Wasn't sure if it was going to be in the first run, but if you're going up against the current overall leader, I guess you do everything you have in your bag. Let's take a look back at this double backflip.
Oh man, Cam, fully committed though. It's not a big jump for a double flip, is it?
No, I watched him do it in qualifying. Nobody does double backflips in qualifying, and he barely squeezed it out. Just got the front tire down with just enough rotation to roll out. So you can imagine right there, he just had a little bit less rotation than he had in qualifying. It's great to see him back up on the bike.
Well, we're glad to see he's okay, but I like the point what you said, man. It's literally, there's no room for error on a small jump like that, is there?
it's dirt to dirt, and so it's constantly changing, especially as practice and now that we're underway with racing. Every time somebody rolls off of that jump, it could change, especially with rain. The dirt becomes a little bit slower. So any of those reasons could be why Barry Nobles didn't get that double backflip around, but it's great to see him back up and riding. Hopefully he gets back up there, tries to fend off that maximum differential against Sam Reynolds. But right now, it's all about these two guys. Best buddies off the track. I don't know what they'd consider themselves on the track right now because it's all about racing. Cam Zink on the left, Kyle Strait on the right.
And Cam Zink hasn't been at the rounds this year, but Kyle Strait has, and he's got a real chance at this series title.
Cam Zink going for that front flip again. Kyle Strait with the backflip bar spin, it looked like.
They're almost bumping into each other after landing, but I could see a bit of friendship there. They were really, really not phased by it at all. So Kyle Strait has 2.35 seconds advantage.
Oh,
no,
man.
Zink with the straight air, so he knows that's all she wrote.
I think he knows he may have missed a gate right there. Cam Zink, a guy who grew up racing dual slalom, he knows the drill. If you miss a gate, you get disqualified out of that round. So we'll have to go back to the replay to see if that's what happened. It looked like he gave up right after I was questioning whether or not he got that gate.
I mean, Kyle Strait, he's been racing or free riding since he almost was out of diapers here. So let's have a look. Cam Zink seemed to feel like he missed a gate here. Yeah, he was going for the hop, but he definitely got that back tire over the gate, and that'll be a DQ anyway, so he knew he was out of it.
Well, you know what? It's just great to see Cam Zink riding so well today. I talked to him this morning. His shoulder was sore. He wasn't feeling it. He said there's no way he was going to try to front flip.
When is he ever not sore, though?
It's true.
He's always trying something crazy, trying to do a world record, or he's preparing for Rampage. So there you hear it. They've been racing each other for 20 years, and I mean, that's a mean feat in itself.
Well, they've been racing against each other for 20 years. I've known this kid for as long as he's been alive. I remember him being born because he's my little brother right there. And nothing better than coming to Whistler and hanging out with friends and family. So much to do here. Tyler was nice enough to take me around, show me the ropes, and teach me a little bit about modern day speed and style.
All right, Cam. You've been in the broadcast booth quite a few years. You said you can't do speed and style anymore because you can't announce and ride speed and style. Personally, I think you're washed up. I think you've lost it. What are you talking about? I mean, I'll test you, but I'll give you one general rule of thumb, see if it helps you out. But you gotta live your life thinking speed and style. But the one thing, never speed when you're supposed to style, never style when you're supposed to speed.
So what exactly do you mean? Oh shit, you going out? Oh my god, so many choices. Mocha soy double latte frappuccino almond milk extra whip with the chocolate sprinkles, please.
Can I get a black coffee, please?
Yeah, let's go.
No. All right, Cam, this one's simple, dude. First one on the other side of the lake wins.
Across the lake. This one's speed for sure.
Still have something left in you. That was close.
Well, right on. I think I'm finally starting to understand your concept. You have to know when to think speed and when to think style.
Exactly. And if at the end of the day you find a perfect balance, you get to celebrate.
Cheers.
This is how you celebrate with style.
Oh, right. Now we're talking.
All right.
So that's what hanging out in Whistler's all about. Go ride your bike, go hang out in the lake, drink some coffee, go to the Barefoot Bistro, pop some champagne. I've still got a couple things to learn if I were to try to take Tyler out, but I appreciate him showing me the ropes.
Yeah, that was a bit of brotherly love there. And let's not forget the bike riding here in Whistler. And speaking of bike riding, we've got some crazy, crazy stuff coming up your way.
All right, well, let's see if Tyler McCall can practice what he preaches there. He's on the left side of your screen with that yellow jersey going up against Canada's Caleb Halanko on the right.
So Tyler with the advantage from round 1.
Oh,
the
Caleb
standard
Halanko going for the front flip. Now that's going to score higher than the back flip from Tyler McCall, but Tyler currently leading the race.
So Tyler's got a bit of advantage, so he really needs to keep his head down here, put as much time into him as possible. Another flip. I don't think there was a combo, but oh no.
Well, Caleb at least got a bar spin this time. We remember.
Oh no!
Caleb Halanko getting hucklebucked in the final straightaway. Now that is a great example of what happens if you get offline on that straightaway. It can be so brutal, having those compressions leading into those gates.
That is so unforgiving, and that maybe is a little bit of the young, new up-and-comer versus the super experience of Tyler McCall. He knew what to do, and he knew he needs to just keep safe to make it to the next round.
Well, explain to me the commitment from Caleb Halanko right here. Not only doing this front flip, but coming into that final straightaway so incredibly fast. And if you look at his eyes once we get down here to the bottom, he had his eyes on the prize. He was making those gates, even if it meant crashing in the pursuit of it. Take a look.
So he's hopping into the next one. Does another hop. Oh!
Look at him, eyes up.
Big drift, man. He was so committed. He didn't care if he was sliding out. He was trying to go forward there. And got a bit light over that last bump, kicked the back wheel out. He didn't even know it was going to happen.
Man, this final straightaway is real deal racing. Well, the scores, Tyler McCall scoring a 40 up top, a 46 down at the bottom. Caleb getting rewarded for that front flip by 75 points, only 2 points at the bottom for that bar spin. But with that crash, Caleb Halanko will have a max differential to make up. Well, actually, that was the second round, so Tyler McCall moves on into the round of 8. That's where we're at right now. We are eliminating people.
That we are. He will go up against Kyle Strait in the next round. Before we see that, Tom van Steenburgen, we know he can throw a double flip. He'll be up against Garrett Mitchum.
Tom van Steenburgen has been on point all season. Let's take a look back at stop number 2 in Innsbruck, Austria, where Tom brought this crazy 720 variation. He's in his head thinking casserole, but it ends up being on such a wild axis because he's, let's not forget, in the middle of a race run.
Well, he had us dumbfounded. We were trying to think it was a casserole. Like you said, he was trying to go over his shoulder, as you were explaining to me, but he was kind of more on a horizontal axis there.
Well, whatever he had to do to make 720 degrees of rotation work at speed while racing side by side with his competitor, this guy definitely very unpredictable when it comes to dual speed and style. Right now going up against Garrett Mitchum. Tom van Steenburgen with the advantage.
Yeah, let's see what they've got. Oh, flip bar spin versus
a backflip tuck no hander for Tom van Steenburgen.
Going to be kind of even scored. We would think the judge is going to give those. So, dropping a foot there.
But hold on.
Tom. This race is super tight here, man. But damn, Garrett Mitchum's putting the heat on. Big spin there. So he's leading, coming down the final straight here. But Tom needs to push harder than that.
Well, take a look right there. Tom van Steenburgen, 0.45 behind Garrett Mitchum. And we saw Tom have a bit of a bobble there. And also, I'm noticing he's running single speed. It looked like he had a really hard gear coming out of those gates into the second trick jump. So Garrett Mitchum, all the focus he's been putting on dual speed and style is paying off. But will it be enough?
Garrett has a 2.22 deficit to make up here. So Tom was maybe playing it safe here.
Here we go. The backflip bar spin early for Garrett Mitchum against the backflip tuck no hander. 75 for Garrett, 68 for Tom van Steenburgen. But at the bottom, Garrett not scoring as high as Tom. Tom getting a 70 right there. And that will mean that Tom van Steenburgen will advance into the next round, sending Garrett Mitchum home. But hopefully with more motivation to come back, because he's got a bright future in this discipline if he keeps on pursuing it. There we go, Andrew. Look at our bracket so far. We're eliminating people.
We are. There we go. We've got Kyle Strait and Tyler McCall will face each other. Tom van Steenburgen is through the next round as well.
Now, Tom van Steenburgen will face off against the winner of this round right now. Greg Watts currently has the advantage, but only by 0.72 over David Lieb.
Greg Watts, veteran of the sport here and Whistler. He's been here from the beginning. Wow, that is a big trick there. Backflip, bar spin, double bar spin, mind you.
And David Lieb definitely going to have to spread his wings right now if he's going to upset that 0.7 differential. Greg playing it safe with the straight backflip right now, knowing he's ahead in this race, and he also has the advantage going into this round. You gotta say it's looking pretty good for Greg Watts right now.
Yeah, that again is like we saw in the Tyler matchup. It seems like these guys know what to do. They know it's round of 16. They've been doing this many, many years. So kind of the veteran versus the rookie, and experience is paying off here, Cam.
There's so much strategy in this discipline, and one guy who really embodies that is Greg Watts. He doesn't ever do more than he needs to in a round, and when he needs to just pull out all the stops, he's always got some secret trick. He can add a variation to things that are already busy.
Yeah, for the viewer at home, there's exactly what Cam said. There's so much strategy here. You don't want to maybe show all the tricks that you have in the first rounds when you might need to keep them secret against a big rider that has equal or better tricks of you.
Well, waiting on the scores from the judges right now. We got to think that Greg Watts will be moving out of this round, but we got to wait for them to crunch the numbers. It was a backflip bar spin, a bar spin back for Greg Watts. He gets a 95 for that, so that's a learning experience if he makes it out of this round. Stick with that trick.
Yeah, stick with it. You get a 95, which he can. He's pretty
So
consistent
Greg Watts
with that trick.
Sending David Lieb to the showers, but just as we said with Garrett Meacham in the round before, hopefully David Lieb sticks with it. There's a rider who definitely has what it takes to climb the ranks here in dual speed and style. A couple riders who are no stranger to climbing those ranks, guys who've been at the top of their respective avenues of these sports. Thomas Inanen on the right side of your screen against Thomas Slavik on the left.
Yeah, Thomas Slavik, no stranger to speed. And as you see it out the gate, former king of Crankworx. No trick for him, just like a toboggan from what I could see.
We saw the toboggan again from Thomas Slavik over that first.
So Thomas Slavik, a former king of Crankworx and a former world champion four-cross, so we know he's got speed. X up from him.
Oh,
big tuck 360 from Thomas Inanen.
That's what he needed right there. He's so far behind, but he got his variation. Will it be enough? Now, about 3 seconds behind Thomas Slavik was Thomas Inanen.
Well, he had 1.32 already to work with here, but that is a big gap. So let's see what the tricks and the bonuses help him here.
So Thomas Slavik, such a veteran when it comes to racing. What is it that you can identify from this replay that just shows veteran prowess?
Well, you can just see Thomas Slavik is very committed. His eyes are on the prize. They're looking forward. And he's got his head in the direction that he wants to go, so his body and bike will follow.
Now, it seems like a chain reaction. If you start that final straightaway lined up improperly, every single turn looks more challenging. But Thomas Slavik looked like he set up perfect and almost straight line that entire final straightaway.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. If you can just start and not be late on the first turn, it has a chain reaction. So if you're smooth and good on the first turn, it really helps you.
Well, that
as you can see there.
tuck no-hander being rewarded with 70 points for Inanen. Oh, he was so close. Oh,
wow.
If Inanen would have got the bar spin on the first jump for that 360 bar to table, he may have had him. 7/100ths of a second.
That's a big upset because he had 1.322 ahead of Slavik, and it maybe seems like he played it a bit easy down that final straight in those gates where Slavik was extremely, extremely composed and fast.
Well, that was a tight round right there. Slavik advancing, but right now, anytime you got this guy in the start gate, you know you're in for a treat. He's sitting in second place in the current King of Crankworx standings. Samuel Blankensob, of course, from New Zealand. Sam Blankensob sitting in the lead. And, you know, Thomas Lemoine isn't incredibly close to Sam. Sam's out at Mont Saint Anne racing Downhill World Cup right now. So this is an opportunity for Lemoine to climb that ranking right now. He's going up against Bas van Steenburgen.
Yeah, I don't think that differential on screen was correct. There's still something in this.
Oh, flip double bar spin from Thomas Lemoine. The knack-knack's not going to do much for Bas van Steenburgen, so he's going to have to get on the ponies.
No, it's not. As we saw, it only gives him 10 points, which is really nothing in this game here. Thomas Lemoine is even keeping him honest, and he's ahead on speed with doing these tricks. My word.
Well, Lemoine looking casually fast right there as Bas was just racing sprinting every opportunity to make up for those knack-knacks. 0.23 the difference between these two riders.
Thomas Lemoine is looking strong. It kind of reminds me of how good he was looking in Innsbruck.
Look at how many pedals Bass can find in that rhythm section.
But Thomas Lemoine, that is a very loose turn. They're both opting to drop a foot there and just play it safe. Man, Thomas Lemoine has impressed me there. That was fast as well as big tricks.
All right, let's take a look at the scores here. That backflip double bar spin is going to serve Thomas Lemoine well. 90 points to his name. Bass van Steenburgen only getting 10 for his little trick, but it's playing defense at this point. If you don't have backflip bar spins and 360 bar spins, you do what you can and then ride as fast as you possibly can. Well, it looks like Thomas Lemoine will advance into the next round, and we have Michaela Gatto down here to get a couple words from him. Michaela? Well, a classic case of is this thing on? I'm sure we were gonna hear some brilliant words of wisdom out of Thomas Lemoine, but we'll wait until that microphone gets turned back on. We'll give him a chance to make his way back up to the top of the course, where currently we have a couple riders in the gate. Daryl Brown on the right side of your screen, leading going into this run by a second over DJ Brandt, the well-rounded talent out of Colorado.
Daryl Brown was third here in Whistler last year in dual speed and style. A man known for hopping on the podiums here. He takes the sport very seriously. He's taken all his focus from the dirt jump background and brought it here to dual speed and style.
Well, not serious enough to wear goggles on a rainy day. Let's see if that hurts him at all here. Backflip tuck no-hander for Daryl Brown.
Yeah, versus a backflip.
Whoa. That inside right-hander is so tight.
It takes a lot of commitment, but DJ gets through there flawlessly. Man, he's holding them honest here. What have we got?
Head-to-head
racing. 360 double Boston, which you know is going to score high, and he's ahead on speed here. Daryl Brown needs to make up some time in these gates.
Yes, Daryl Brown getting that classic 360 tuck no-hander on that last jump, but that's going to be no match for the 360 double bar spin from DJ Brandt.
And what
tight
a trick
racing.
to pull here just in the first round here against a veteran of Daryl Brown. The 360 double bar spin, and they're going quick into that last jump. And he's composed, keeping it low here in these rollers, opting to stay on the ground versus some other guys that are jumping there.
I could watch Daryl Brown ride through that last straightaway all day. Eyes up, tires drifting.
Yeah, he's wild through there, but it seems like the more composed, maybe going in a bit slower will help you through those last gates.
DJ Brandt corking out the flip a little bit, good enough for 40 points, but 70 points for Daryl Brown on that first jump. Of course, Daryl Brown always going for that 360 tuck no-hander. He gets 70 points for it, but the 360 double bar spin from DJ Brandt was a great try, but unfortunately for DJ Brandt, not enough. And our dual speed and style veteran, Daryl Brown, will work his way back up to the top of the course to get into that next round.
Yeah, we'll say goodbye to DJ Brandt. He's off to the showers early. But my word, I don't think that'll be the last we see of DJ Brandt.
Really impressive to see that man right there in the start gate after what happened to him on his first run. Barry Nobles pulling out all the stops in run number one, going for the double backflip.
Showing huge commitment here on a pretty small dirt to dirt. Oh, and just not getting enough rotation there, Cam. It seems like you're going to land it perfect or under-rotate. I don't think you're going to over-rotate that one.
That jump is not very big, but this guy is always so determined. He knows inside that helmet that he landed that very same trick on this very same jump this morning. Things have changed with the conditions. It's going to be interesting to see if he tries it again. He does have the max differential to make up against Sam Reynolds.
What are we going to see here? Is he going to go for it?
Oh, he does again!
Oh, my goodness! Oh. So much commitment. That was even worse than the first one. That one is going to leave a mark.
Well, a mirror image from the replay we just saw. Barry Nobles can go to sleep tonight knowing that he tried everything he could. See Sam Reynolds showing great sportsmanship, stopping to make sure Barry Nobles is all right.
How is Sam even focusing when he's doing his trick?
Of course, that'll mean That great sportsman right there, Sam Reynolds, will advance into the round of 8, but Barry Nobles, you can't say he didn't try. There's a look at our round of 8. We'll be getting them back up to the top of the course. Clif Dual Speed and Style presented by Muc-Off. Round of 8 coming up after this.
We're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
Kokanee, Glacier Fresh Beer. It's the beer out here. Well, if you're a fan of mountain biking and you're a fan of good times, maybe you like to throw back a couple Kokanees every once in a while, then you came to the right place. If you can't be here in person, you're doing the right thing right now by tuning into our broadcast, because we got an action-packed dual speed and style final for you. We've whittled it down now to 8 riders, 8 of the best dual speed and style riders in the world. Take a look at who we have right now. And in the gate, for the first heat of the round of 8, it's Kyle Strait on the left versus Tyler McCall on the right. The riders who met up in the final at the last stop of the Crankworx World Tour in Liège, France.
This is where it all began for the Crankworx World Tour here in Whistler. Tyler McCall on the right-hand side of your screen. Kyle Strait on your left. Kyle Strait with the flip bar spin.
Tyler McCall with the backflip no-footed can, so great variations out of both of these riders.
Yeah, judges will reward that. That's great. But Kyle Strait is putting the power down here. Tyler McCall has some ground to make up. Oh, no.
Tyler
forces a mistake. Kyle Strait riding aggressively with great tricks here, but forces a mistake out of Tyler there.
Well, Tyler was riding well. He had that backflip no-footed can, but anything can happen when you get into these flat corners. Tyler typically excels in those flat corners, coming from the dual slalom racing background. But you set up your bike for tricks, you also set it up for the race, and sometimes you wish you had a little bit more meat on that front tire. Losing traction, the course is getting a little bit more rutted out right now. And Kyle Strait doesn't even realize Tyler went down. He's still throwing his big combo tricks.
Yeah,
so that's going to mean Tyler has a big differential to make up.
He does. He's going to have to force a mistake out of Kyle. But we had the rain before the final started here. And obviously, as it dries out, this dirt gets a lot more dry. There's some rocks that kind of develop. So just getting looser and looser for these riders compared to the first round.
So Tyler McCall will have a massive differential to make up once they work their way to the top of the course. But right now, it's all about our next heat in the gate. Tom van Steenburgen hanging out on the left side of your screen, going up against Greg Watts, a guy who got on the podium in Innsbruck earlier this season. Tom van Steenburgen, as you saw earlier, sometimes he throws out those crazy rotating combos. He's been known to do cash rolls and double flips in dual speed and style. So what's this going to be?
Wow, there's a tuck flip no-hander to bar spin.
And Greg doing that backflip bar spin variation. It looked like a bar spin to bar spin back. Scored him a 95 in the last round, so he's smart by sticking with that trick.
Yeah, he would be stupid to throw that trick away. He should run it the whole way through. Now that's flip tuck from Tom there. Yeah, we're going into the last gates. Oh, Greg is getting a little bit loose there. Greg Watts, 1.21 seconds behind on the speed, but we got to throw to the judges, put in the bonuses and see what the differential will be.
So as the judges do their job, we'll take a look at what their eyes are on at this moment when they try to score these tricks. There they are tabulating. Now Greg Watts, let's look very, very closely at the replay of this first jump. He'll be on the right side of your screen. The trick he was doing in the last round is that backflip bar spin to bar spin back. It all happened so quick. Let's see if that's what he went for here again. Backflip bar spin to bar spin back, spinning him 2 different directions. He scores a 95, and it's a good thing because right alongside him, Tom van Steenburgen scored a 90.
That is so technical, you can barely see it without having a slow-mo replay, so yeah. But still, Tom, winner of speed and no slouch on the trick, so he's got an advantage.
Well, back up to the top, this guy who's currently sitting in second place on the King of Crankworx overall standings, looking to get some more points today while Sam Blankensop makes his way from the east side of Canada to the west to try to defend that lead. Now, what is the King of Crankworx all about? It's about entering as many events as you possibly can at the 4 stops around the world. There's a lot to choose from, and the reason why you want to get all those points is because there's $20,000 to the king and to the queen.
Yeah, the ultimate prize in mountain biking here from Crankworx. And there's going to be 10,000 to the second place and 5,000 to third place from what I can hear. So there's a lot of money on the line here.
Lemoine going up against Thomas Slavik from the Czech Republic. Watch the gate start from Slavik, but Lemoine holding his own.
Lemoine is holding his own. That's why I'm really impressed. Whoa, double bar spin flip from Lemoine. That is going to score high, as we said.
Look at that ruse from Slavik.
This course is really cutting up here. These guys have got to be careful through this turn. That's, yeah, that thing is loose. That's where Tyler went down. So that corner's getting worse and worse. Whoa, is that 360 double bar spin
360 double bar spin. It's been scoring high from all day.
So he's got to keep it together here and not lose too much time because he knows he's going to pull it back on the tricks.
Lemoine through the finish line, 2.66 behind Thomas Slavik. And wow, that left-hander that Tyler McCall went down on is really looking to be a factor right here, almost grabbing the tires of Thomas Lemoine. So look at this gate start. It doesn't get any better than the gate start from Thomas Slavik, but if you can be that close to him going into the first jump, you also have a good gate start under your belt.
Yeah, he's probably pulling 0.5 a second just in the gate.
Look.
So there's that turn. There is a rut developing, but it's getting drier and drier, so it's going to get looser as the evening goes on. Thomas Slavik.
Oh my.
Really, really amazing through these last few rollers.
He has a way of
really
straight lining
them all, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than Slavik out of the gate or on that final straightaway. If we could just get him to go upside down again. He was flipping earlier on in the season, but had a big crash in Leger, so no disrespect. He knows there's a lot of consequences to that. So 0 points for Thomas Slavik, but 90 for the backflip double bar spin out of Thomas Lemoine. Last jump, he gets a 360 double bar spin, so 75 points for that. Slavik scoring another 0. But pretty close there. Slavik the leader, Lemoine 0.46 behind him. So definitely within reach once they get back up to the top and switch courses. All right, well, we had a little trouble with the Thomas Lemoine interview before, but Michaela's got her mic on now. Michaela, let's hear it from him.
All right, so I'm with Thomas Lemoine right now, currently sitting in second place for the King of Crankworx. So you know Slavik is going to go for speed here. Strategy-wise, do you switch up your tricks at all, try to go faster, or do you just stick to the same thing?
I try to go fast, but I have a dirt jump bike, so I'm not as fast as him, for sure. So I'm going to try to do big tricks again and see how it goes.
And for the rest of the week, what can we see you in?
I'm going to do pump track and slopestyle.
No Fox Air DH?
Nah.
Come on. Well, good luck out there, and hopefully next run you got him.
Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Michaela. It's a great point. I mean, Slavik's out there on a dual suspension bike. That's going to translate into traction on those flat corners. It also helps when you're riding the best line, which is what Slavik has been doing. But Lemoine holding his own on the dirt jump bike and definitely, I mean, crossing the finish line pretty close to him. Well, back up to the top, Darrell Brown on the left side of your screen against Sam Reynolds, the guy who has 205 points in the dual speed and style overall, the guy who wants to win the series today, but he has to get past Darrell Brown in order to do so.
Good start from Darrell Brown. Flip tuck for him.
Side by side, identical tricks for these two riders.
So it's all up to speed at this stage. These two riders actually ride and train at home. They don't call it training, but I've seen them practicing their dual speed and style on these bikes. Darrell Brown putting the heat on. He's on the faster line there, though. Oh, going deep on that 360. I do think that the white gates are a little bit easier than the black gates down the bottom here.
Well, there we go. Darrell Brown through the finish line first. Sam Reynolds just 0.65 behind him. And a lot of tricks for both of these riders. A big highlight for me from that run was the side-by-side backflip no-handers, showing that it's a tight race, but it's also going to be tight once they get the scores in because they're doing similar tricks.
Yeah, so let's see how Sam deals with the pressure as we get through these rounds. He's probably thinking, come on, Darrell, I've got the whole series on the line. Don't you want a little pocket money if you let me have this one?
Yeah, there we go. 70s for both of them, identical tricks. 360 bar spin, 360 bar spin, so 75s, a pair of those for the second jump. So when you got the riders doing the same tricks, it comes down to a race right here. So of course, Darrell Brown crossed the finish line first by 0.65, so he will be the leader going into their second run.
That might be the easiest heat for the judges, you know? They might get the numbers wrong, but at least they have to be the same.
They're essentially judging a dual slalom race at this point.
Yeah, well done, guys. So anyway, these guys, mates at home, but I think when the helmets go on and the goggles, it's all racing, man. No friends in racing.
Well, Michaela's down in that finish corral, hanging out with that guy who has 205 points in the overall series standings. Let's hear from Sam Reynolds, Michaela.
First of all, Sam, the gentlemanliness of that last two runs with Barry was amazing.
I think anyone, if they see their mate literally hit the floor, I thought he was knocked out and stuff, so had to stop, make sure he's all right, then sneak down.
Nice guy all around. Okay, so, but forget about the nice stuff now. You have to come first or second to guarantee the overall championship here today. Is that in the back of your mind?
Kind of. Darrell's a bit in the front of mind right now because it's annoying. We're best mates and we've raced every single race, so none of us have, we've never had the final together, you know, and it's not going to happen again.
Well, I mean, you leave it all at the start gate, though. No friends on course, right?
No, I'm not going to ram him off, but yeah, I'm going to try and beat him.
Well, best of luck out there.
Thanks.
Well, this just in from our statistics department. If Darrell Brown wins the event and Sam Reynolds finishes 7th or lower, Darrell Brown could potentially win the overall. So there's a lot of number crunching going on right now.
So there's a lot of scenarios here tonight, and the same with Kyle Strait still in it, but Sam Reynolds qualified second, so it's probably going to be tough for him, even if he goes out in this round, possibly to get 7th or worse. So we're going to have to wait and see if Darrell Brown can go on to take that win, but someone like Kyle Strait, he's still in this.
Kyle Strait, you could consider him in the driver's seat right now, looking strong today and only 5 points behind Sam Reynolds. But I definitely would say that Sam Reynolds is looking on point today, but he's got to get through Darrell Brown. That's going to be tough. So back up to the start gate. We're talking about Kyle Strait because he could potentially win the overall today. We're also talking about him because he has the advantage going into this second run here against Tyler McCall. If you remember, Tyler washed out in the left-hander leading into that second jump. That rut has been developing, so Tyler McCall will have the maximum differential to upset against Kyle Strait, which virtually means Kyle Strait would have to make a similar mistake.
Yeah, you would hope the experience will come out here. Kyle Strait knows he just needs to keep it on 2 wheels. He's got the max differential to go through to the semi-final and get one step closer to the overall series title here in dual speed and style.
So Kyle Strait just having to keep it smooth right now.
Flip versus a flip, so that's even Stevens here. So Tyler McCall, this is where he made a mistake. Is Kyle Strait going to make it through here clean it? It's getting looser and looser.
Oh, there we go.
Very good, opting to break up and go even more inside. More flips, trying to get kind of an unturned on flip there from Tyler, it seemed, but really good through the speed here. And he knows it's kind of all she wrote with that max differential, so Kyle Strait, we would safely assume, will advance.
Kyle Strait playing his cards right, not throwing any wild cards, knowing that all he had to do is not miss a gate, not crash, and he would move into the next round. So that crash in run number 1 from Tyler McCall will mean the end of his night, but Kyle Strait, on his quest for the overall championship, is doing exactly what he needs to do. A pair of backflips up top, 40s for both of these riders. A pair of backflips at the bottom. A little tabletop for Tyler McCall, so he gets 60 points. So I'm not sure if Kyle is aware of the situation right now for the overall. Let's find out, Michaela.
All right, Kyle, so you won in Leger. You're playing it safe. You're racing really smart. Do you know that you're...
Am I playing it safe? No.
It looks pretty safe to me. It looks pretty smooth to me.
I'm having a good time. The course is actually awesome. The wind calmed down. So I'm sure you guys will see some really cool tricks and really fast runs.
And are you going for the overall here?
I mean, why wouldn't you? I'm in the position to be able to try and do it, so that's further down the road, though. You can think about each round that comes to you and just have fun with it.
All right, Campbell, I think that answers that. It's in the back of his head, but he's taking it one run at a time.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michaela. He's no stranger to competition, especially competition that involves 2 parallel side-by-side identical courses. He's won the Sea Otter Classic dual slalom, which is the most prestigious dual slalom in the entire sport. So he knows what he's got to do is focus on every run, not think too much about that overall, but of course it's in the back of his mind. Greg Watts needs to upset a 1.4 disadvantage right now against Tom van Steenburgen, and they're off.
Oh, he misses it. He only gets the single bar spin there for what I could see, Cam, so that's not going to help him.
And Tom getting the backflip no-hander to bar spin, so that's the 3-part combo that's going to score him well.
So this is where Greg needs to attack, because he's got to make up some time here. I couldn't see, I couldn't see if that was the bars to bar back. That's amazing. Keeping it nice and smooth here. Oh, Tom van Steenburgen pushing hard here. This is going to be tight.
Oh, man.
This is going to be all up to the judges, guys.
This is going to be close because Tom had the big combo on the first jump. Greg missed one component of the combo he was looking for, but then he got redemption on the second jump and crossed the finish line first. Listen to him.
So you hear what they were saying. He was looking for a flip bar to Sui, but clearly didn't get the Sui, so we thought he was looking for something more.
So that means he's got that on his mind. If he makes it out of this round, that can be something we would expect from him in the round of 4 if he's able to get there. Here we go. Yep, just a backflip bar spin, scoring 75 for Greg Watts, a 90 for that backflip tuck no-hander to bar spin for Tom van Steenburgen. Getting the backflip tuck no-hander on the second jump for Tom, that's 70 points, but Greg getting that bar-to-bar backflip on the second jump. Greg Watts advances by only 0.15, doing exactly what he needs to do.
Wow, that is some experience coming out there.
It was great to see
through.
Greg on the podium. He might be getting back on there.
You called him before the show started, so that's your pick for tonight, Greg Watts, and he's through to face none other than Kyle Strait, who's in the title hunt here. And that was an exciting racing and so close there. Greg Watts, though, advancing.
So let's take a look back in case you have short-term memory loss. This is what run 1 looked like between the 2 Toms. Thomas Slavik getting that gate start, and Thomas Lemoine, the guy doing all the tricks.
Yeah, Thomas Lemoine from the slopestyle background, but really keeping Slavik honest with a bit of speed here. Running wide there, losing a bit of time. Slavik X-up doesn't get any points for that either.
So Slavik crossing the finish line almost 3 seconds ahead of Lemoine, but Lemoine having those tricks. What do these guys need to do right now?
So he brought it back. Only 0.26 behind it from Thomas Lemoine. So Thomas Lemoine has got to keep it tidier in those turns, and I think stick with the same tricks, and he should safely get through.
I like it. That is the plan for success for Thomas Lemoine. Easier said than done.
Good gate start, though, compared to Slavik. And he gets it. He gets it. So this is where he's got to keep it consistent. This is where the turns get a little bit more slippery. Nice and committed. Slavik running wide. He's going to lose some time there. Lemoine pulling back. And he gets it. The double bar spin 3. This is really good from Lemoine.
Whoa!
I think that's going to easily do it with those trick combos that he was throwing, Cam.
Absolutely. If you're able to hold on that close to Thomas Slavik and stomp those tricks, he didn't have a huge differential to make up anyways. So smart money's on Thomas Lemoine right now. Let's take a look back at the replay.
So great gate start from him. Thomas Slavik got a little bit more power to the first jump though. Wow, inside through that berm, dropping low. This is where Slavik made a big mistake, running so wide on that turn.
Great save.
Thomas Lemoine, and then throwing the 360 double bar spin was huge from him.
The consistency with which Thomas Lemoine throws these technical combos, run after run. Will those tricks be enough right now against the sheer speed of Thomas Slavik? Slavik getting a 0 against Lemoine's 90 for that backflip double bar spin. So looking good for Lemoine right now. Into the replay of the second jump. That second bar spin meaning so much, taking that into a trick that could potentially score 90. It does, and Thomas Lemoine advances, sending Thomas Slavik home for the 2018 Dual Speed and Style Series, but he's been strong all year.
Thomas Lemoine is a danger man in this series as well. I mean, if Carl Strait, Sam Reynolds, they don't do well enough and he goes and take a win, I think mathematically he might even have a chance. So this is getting so exciting.
Wishing that he competed in Leger. He decided to focus on slopestyle instead, but right now Sam Reynolds has his own destiny square in the palm of his own hands. That man right there, great friends with Sam Reynolds. Darrell Brown is not going to let up.
Yeah,
right
so
now, Darrell Brown has the advantage by 0.65.
The weight is all on Sam's shoulder. Darrell Brown has nothing to lose here. He's just going for hardware here at Whistler.
Really icing him in the gate. You got to think you know what tricks Darrell Brown's going to do, but what is Sam Reynolds going to do? There we go, a pair of backflip
identical
tuck
tricks
no-handers.
again. Sam Reynolds should be on the faster lane from what we saw, the white one.
Oh,
And he forces a mistake from Darrell Brown. Unfortunately, Darrell Brown has just not shown consistency throughout this race series.
That is so reminiscent of what we've seen a couple years in a row in Leger. Darrell Brown washing the front tire in a right-hand berm.
Yeah,
that
Darrell
seems to be his
Brown
Achilles
leaves
heel.
it does. It just really, he leaves it all out on the line here and really attacks in the turns when sometimes you've just got to brake a little bit more. So Sam Reynolds getting a bit of a lucky break there, but he also was forcing a mistake because he was ahead of Darrell Brown going into that turn.
We'll take a look back at what went wrong for Darrell Brown. A similar scene. We saw him do this twice in Leger, 2 separate years. Just so much commitment in those right-hand berms.
He just comes in very committed and he just trusts the berm that it's steeper than it is. He doesn't get enough weight on the edge of that tire. He's just leaning way too much for a turn that's flat. Just shows his commitment, but also you've got to start kind of spotting the turns and seeing where they're getting looser and not, because you can't go in so committed and so leaned over like when it's drying out here.
Well, Sam Reynolds advancing 1 step closer to the 2018 Crankworx World Tour Dual Speed and Style Championship. It's been a long season, but if Sam Reynolds wants to pull it off, it's still a long road because Kyle Strait is breathing down his neck, only 5 seconds behind. This is the Clif Dual Speed and Style presented by Muc-Off. Things are heating up, so don't go away.
We're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
SRAM, the power of bicycles. Well, take a look at that. 15 years of Crankworx, starting in 2004. Here we are in 2018, sitting at the final four of the Clif Dual Speed and Style presented by Muc-Off. We got Kyle Strait, Sam Reynolds. Will we see them meet up in the final against each other? The two guys who could potentially take it right now.
Well, exactly. You notice that they're on a collision course for each other if they can both make it through the final. And then whoever wins that final will win the series. But let's not go too far ahead yet. We are in the semi-final matchup. Greg Watts is still here.
Don't ever count that guy out. Greg Watts definitely in the form of his life right now when it comes to dual speed and style. He's won on that course in the background there. He won the slopestyle here in Whistler in 2009. He got a podium at stop number 2 of this 2018 season in this dual speed and style discipline. And right now he's got his sights set on Kyle Strait, the guy sitting second in the overall behind Sam Reynolds.
Kyle Strait has 2 wins here in dual speed and style in his career. That is equal to the likes of Jakob Wenzel, Martin Soderstrom, and Thomas Lemoine, who's still coming later. No one yet has got 3 wins. Can Kyle Strait made it 3 tonight, but he's still got to get through Greg Watts and get to the final.
Greg Watts has been a trick machine all day. Let's see what he chooses against Kyle Strait.
Kyle Strait with a good jump out the gate. Kyle Strait with a flip bar spin. Oh, and he goes down! That is a huge mistake from Kyle Strait, and that could be the title over right there. That quick it can happen.
A whole lot going on in a very short time frame there. To recap, Greg Watts got that back flip bar spin to suicide no-hander he was talking about. Of course, that's going to score high, but Kyle Strait going down. Got to think there's a little smile developing on the face of Sam Reynolds right now, but this is a dual slalom format, so we're going to have to send them back up and switch courses. It's not over for Kyle Strait, but he's going to have that maximum differential, which is very high, to make up against Greg Watts.
This is not the storyline Kyle Strait was looking for coming here in Whistler.
Ooh, they're going to have to fix that.
I would not want to be down there and get in the way of Kyle Strait. He'll definitely be very frustrated. He landed the flip bar spin, no problem, but I don't know if he had a foot that slipped off after the landing. So Kyle Strait, ever the sportsman, he knows he's got another run, but he's got his work seriously cut out for him now.
Well, that's what replays are for, trying to figure out what happened to Kyle Strait here. We were so focused on that back foot bar spin, a suicide from Greg Watts, but here's the replay. Watch the left side of your screen here for Kyle Strait.
So he gets the flip bar spin, Cam, and he comes down. He's a little bit crooked, lands back wheel heavy.
It was all about
the back wheel heavy, huh?
Yeah, it was all about landing back wheel heavy, which pulled the handlebars right out of his right hand there.
So a little bit of an unforced error there from Kyle Strait. A backflip bar spin is a trick he's done through the rounds. He knows how to do that. He just landed a little bit looped out there.
Well, these next two racers who are getting in the gate right now, this is a little bit of case of deja vu right now because they were in the gate against each other not too long ago. Let's take a look back to stop number 2 in Innsbruck, Austria. This was Sam Reynolds and Thomas Lemoine in the final.
Thomas Lemoine just looked unstoppable the whole day, and there was no different here in the final when he would go on to win in Innsbruck. Now we've got a rematch. Sam Reynolds qualified 2nd here in Whistler, Thomas Lemoine 6th, but I really pegged Thomas Lemoine as the danger man. You have Greg Watts. Thomas Lemoine has thrown some serious combos on both of these jumps.
Well, this is interesting because the way this works, if Reynolds and Kyle Strait get eliminated, they'll meet up in the bronze medal round, which could be a great way to wrap up this season also.
And then we're seriously going to need some numbers crunch, because if someone like Thomas Lemoine jumps ahead with a win, but maybe Sam Reynolds gets a 3rd, I mean, what's it going to be?
Well, see, it's crazy because neither Greg Watts or Thomas Lemoine competed in Leger, so they, statistically speaking, they're going to have less points than these guys who raced every single race and had good results. So here we go. The gate is dropped. Sam Reynolds versus Thomas Lemoine.
Thomas Lemoine gets the double bar spin backflip.
Sam Reynolds with that backflip tuck no-hander.
Very committed through the turn there. Thomas Lemoine on the faster lane here. This is super. Oh, no. I don't think that's going to count. We're going to have to wait for the judges there on that. Oh, my goodness, Cam. That is going to be crucially important for us to see what happened on that gate.
Wow, that inside line there, that left-hander. We've seen that rut developing, and you want to be on the inside of that rut. Sam Reynolds was on the outside of the rut, which didn't set him up very nice for that gate. Well, let's take a look back at the replay.
Exactly that, Cam. But before we get to that problem, let's see what they did on the jumps. Okay, we're going to get forward here. So these riders are so aggressive, and what I feel the strategy should be, especially for this turn, they need to brake harder and go slow into, because they're running so wide, and then it's just all she wrote, and they're too late for that turn.
Well, when we saw Cam Zink miss a gate, he gave up right away. Sam Reynolds maybe not aware of the fact that he missed that gate, or just figuring if there's any doubt in his mind, you might as well race it down to the finish. Now, let's watch just that replay. Take a look and find out if he did miss the gate. Here we go, left side of your screen.
So this gate is not pegged down. I see that piece of red. That kind of looks like he did hop the gate. That piece of red that I can see is not part of the gate. That smaller black piece is.
And look at, whoopsie. Oh, you guys saw that, did you?
So he's joking. He kind of knows. He hopes to get lucky here, but what's going to happen? So they're giving in the score jumps here. 90 versus 70 and another 90 versus 75.
Yep.
So Sam Reynolds, yep, that 12-second will be the max differential there. Man, this is really heating up for the title chase, because I don't know if Thomas Lemoine can go to the final and he can get 150 points. That'll push him up to 300 points from what I can see. Those other riders, they can only get 75 or 50. This could be a real shake-up for the overall title. So there you have it, Greg Watts. He's leading going into next round. Thomas Lemoine, he's leading against Sam Reynolds with a max differential, and Greg Watts has a max differential.
All right, well, back to racing here. This is definitely coming down to the wire, not only for our event here today, but for that overall. Right now, Kyle Strait going up against Greg Watts. Kyle having that crash in their first run, which is why Greg Watts' name is lit up in yellow. But earlier today, we had our own Michaela Gatto catching up with Kyle Strait, trying to figure out how in the world you set up your bike for two different things, speed and style. Take a look.
So Kyle, you qualified first today for the dual speed and style. Besides just having impeccable speed and impeccable style, is there anything special about your bike you want to talk to us about?
You know, it's a pretty standard hardtail. I mean, the thing rolls super fast, and I feel really comfortable on it. It's an absolute hardtail, and you know, it's just I'm feeling good on it, and I'm trying not to make any mistakes, and I think that's what it's going to come down to for today.
And you got some extra cables over here for some bar spin action?
Well, tail ups, bar spins. I mean, you might as well have extra room to mess around with different tricks.
And keeping it with the single speed, even though you're doing gate starts, any preference there?
Yeah, you know, it just makes the bike lighter, and you know, for this, I actually wouldn't need to really shift on it, so it's working out pretty good, and I'm just kind of keeping it how it was the last event.
And you've got a pretty tiny knobby tire over here. Does that change with the conditions at all, or are you going to run this whether it keeps raining or if it dries up?
Well, I mean, if it torrential downpours, then I'll have to make up a different plan, but right now it's super fast. It's a small block 8, and you know, it's rolling really fast and keeping traction out there with the little bit of rain we had.
Perfect. Well, good luck out there.
All right, thanks.
Well, Kyle Strait talking about setting your bike up for bar spins, also talking about striving toward minimizing mistakes in this form of competition. But a mistake is exactly what happened to him in run number 1 while he was doing a backflip bar spin. Take a look at his right hand. Now, it wasn't completely where he wanted it on the grip. It looked like he actually had his hand on the inside of the brake lever. So when he landed on the rear tire, there's a lot of force. Your fingers are trying to hold on, and it just ripped the handlebars right out of his big old bear paws.
Yeah, he's got some big paws, but like you said, he kind of just missed where he wanted to grab the bar when it came around, and then the heavy landing on the back wheel just ripped it straight out of that bare paw.
So he's going to have that maximum differential to make up against Greg Watts. So that's an uphill battle right now because Greg is looking so consistent.
So it just shows you the pressure of this title that was on the line. Both Sam Reynolds and Kyle Strait have the maximum differential, both of them making mistakes in their runs. But Thomas Lemoine kind of came in a little bit softly spoken here. He kind of lets his riding do all his talking.
Always. It doesn't matter what the discipline is. If he signs up, it could be pump track, slope style, speed and style. I would love to see him do slalom also. He's just a competitor and a great bike rider.
I think he really could be good in slalom. He's got extreme bike handling skills, and he's fast here. He's not just throwing those crazy combos. So unfortunately, Sam Reynolds, Kyle Strait, they got a lot of ground to make up. You almost feel like we're going to see them in a matchup, but it'll be for a bronze medal.
Which, hey, that's a head-to-head way to figure out this overall as well. So I love that scenario too, but we still have some racing before we figure out exactly what shape this championship hunt will take. So there we have it. Greg Watts sets his bike into the start gate as Kyle Strait looks like he's doing a little adjustment to his right glove. Make sure that hand stays on the handlebars this time. But a lot of pressure on Greg Watts right here to not make a mistake. It's one thing to ride flat out and really go for the gold, but knowing that all you have to do is just not miss a gate and not crash, it's kind of easy to take it too mellow.
No, exactly that. Playing it safe is not the easiest thing. People at home, it sounds like the easiest thing in the world. Hey man, just stay on your bike and get down. But then you start riding tight, and that's when mistakes start happening.
There's more thought involved.
Exactly. Bicycle riding at this level is very much subconscious. It's all muscle memory. You've done this thing a million times at home. So the less thought, the better. But when you get told there's a title on the line, or you get told just get down and stay on your bike, that's when you start thinking.
So here we go. Greg Watts on the left side of your screen, Kyle Strait on the right with that maximum differential to make up.
So how safe will Greg Watts play it here into the first jump? We know Kyle Strait's going to lay it on the line. Wow!
Not very safe
Not
at all.
Not safe at all. He gets the barspin to barspin back.
Back for barspin to
double.
X up for Greg Watts right there. And Kyle Strait with 2 hands on the handlebars.
Okay, this is the turn that's taken down a few riders. He gets through there safely. But Greg Watts is keeping him honest.
Yes. Backflip, one-footed X up for Kyle Strait. Barely holding on. Is he going to make these gates?
Oh, that was incredibly fast. Wow. That was the best we've seen through those chicanes. My word, Kyle Strait showing you why he's so good at dual speed and style. My word.
Oh,
I'm going to take a breather here, Cam. That was incredibly committed.
That final straightaway, I swear, that is dual speed style racing right there. Having to stomp a trick, barely get your feet back on the pedals, sprint through these sections, and then do what Kyle Strait did in that final straightaway. So much commitment to not missing a gate.
So Kyle Strait.
Here we go, take a look.
My word, so committed, yeah. Drifting and still managing to hop. There again, I mean, he's going the wrong way, body's leaning the other way, he decides to hop that roller. That was unbelievably skilled. His leg went around the gate, but I think that's legal. Your bike has to make it around the gate. My word.
I loved every minute of that. I apologize to anybody watching this webcast through headphones because I think both of us screamed our heads off. That's what mountain biking is all about right there.
Exactly, I'm excited. Man, Greg Watts luckily didn't keep it safe.
So look at this. Kyle Strait barely getting the rotation on that backflip, one-footed X-up, gets 55 points for it. Greg with a 90 and a 40. Greg advances because Kyle's crash in the first run. So Greg moving into that gold medal round. Kyle Strait still has a chance to pick up a bronze, and I'm sure still a chance to get that overall as well. It's just not in his hands right now.
No,
he has to do whatever he can to get that bronze medal, but he's sitting here watching this race between Sam Reynolds right there on the left side of your screen.
Yeah, I wish they would bring back that maximum differential just a little bit so that you could put some pressure on your rider and maybe force a mistake out of him.
That's an obscene max differential.
There's just so much time, you're just never going to make it happen.
12 seconds is obscene. In dual slalom, it's always been 1.5.
Yeah, it's 1.5, so even if you get a max differential, you know you've got to keep it together the next round and you've got to push hard.
Well, Thomas Lemoine right now, the rider with the ability to change the story here for the 2018 overall.
So Thomas Lemoine, how safe will he play it?
Sam Reynolds with a backflip tail up coming up short. We haven't seen anybody do that trick today.
No, he knows he's got a forced mistake, but Thomas Lemoine, 12 seconds in the bag. He needs to keep it on two wheels. Does have backflip. There's no mean feat there. And a spin. So Thomas Lemoine knows he's just got to keep in touch with Sam, but not do anything stupid here, and he will advance, we feel.
Well, there we go. There was 12 seconds to make up for Sam Reynolds. Doesn't really matter if he crossed the finish line first, if it's not by enough to really make a difference. But we're getting some word right now from our number crunchers that Thomas Lemoine, if he does win this event, he still could potentially win the overall, which is amazing. It's remarkable because he didn't even compete in Leger. He missed 1/4 of the stops on this long World Tour season. So the plot thickening right now, but Sam Reynolds doing everything within his power to try to make it out of this round. But with that 12.36 max differential, it was all but impossible. Thomas Lemoine staying smooth, crossing the finish line first. He will advance out of this round into the finals, which will send Sam Reynolds into the bronze medal matchup against the guy who's sitting in second in the series overall, Kyle Strait. So the 2018 Dual Speed and Style World Championship will come down to these two races. The gold medal round between Greg Watts and Thomas Lemoine, and the bronze medal round between Kyle Strait and Sam Reynolds. Now it's great to see Kyle Strait and Sam Reynolds squaring up against each other with that championship title on the line.
Yeah, but unfortunately it doesn't guarantee any one of those two the title, because Thomas Lemoine can upset both of those guys, it seems, if he takes home the gold medal here.
So everything matters in this form of competition. We talk a lot about the tricks, but let's talk a little bit about starts.
Well, starts are extremely important. We're here in gated racing. Yes, there's tricks, but it's all about speed as well. So the faster you can get out the gate, the more pressure you can put on your rider next to you. So let's have a look at Slavik. I mean, he comes from a four-course background. As you can see, he lunges with his hips forward into the bar to get the forward momentum out of that gate, and then he's on the pedals at that same time.
Slavik making it to that first jump before his competitor in every single heat he entered today. Definitely the guy to learn something from when it comes to getting out of the gate quick. And when the racing is this tight, every little thing matters.
So there's so much that can happen here. Thomas Lemoine, he can still maybe take it away with a second. But what will real seal it for him is if he can take down a gold medal here at Crankworx at the final stop of our World Tour. Cam, I can't believe we're almost over for the World Tour.
Well, we're talking a lot about what it takes to win these overall titles now being in our final stop of the World Tour. But these riders get a lot of their inspiration from the crowd. So what do you have to do to be a great fan? Take a look at this.
After 15 years of extensive worldwide testing, the following are scientifically recognized methods of showing support for your favorite rider. Air horn, vuvuzela, novelty homemade signage, Instagram hashtag, cowbell, thunder stick, screaming. However, studies have shown that fan nakedness has a detrimental effect on athlete performance. And that's why you need this. But you can't get it here. It's only available on site at the best mountain bike destinations on planet Earth.
Well, that's how you be an effective fan out here at the most storied hillside in all of mountain biking, the Boneyard in Whistler Mountain Bike Park. And if you're focusing your attention on the Boneyard right now, you have an entertaining treat in front of you because we just crunched the numbers and we figured out our scenarios here, our final between Greg Watts and Thomas Lemoine. If Thomas Lemoine wins the gold here today, he takes the 2018 Dual Speed and Style Series overall title. If Greg Watts wins the gold here today, then the title will go to whoever wins the bronze medal. That matchup being between Sam Reynolds and Kyle Strait. Simple, right?
Well, it's a lot more simple than when we started the day because we had about 10 to 20 scenarios. But that is making it a lot more simple. But what is not simple is for Thomas Lemoine to take the gold medal against someone like Greg Watts.
Well, one thing is for sure, Kyle Strait and Sam Reynolds are rooting for Greg Watts right now to win that gold medal.
They most certainly are. So Thomas Lemoine, he probably doesn't even know these stats, so it's probably going to help him. Sam Reynolds, Kyle Strait, I don't know what they're thinking. They're probably thinking, man, I need to beat this guy next to me to have a fighting chance at this.
That's it. That's the only thing either of them have control over. So essentially, that's the only thing that they should be thinking about.
Am I left?
Kyle Strait making it to the gate first with a little bit of time to reflect, strategize, catch his breath. And once we get down here into the final rounds, it takes a bit of time to get back up to the top of that course. So these guys on a bit of an endurance exercise here. The more rounds you make it through, the more riding you do, the more fatigued you get. So pacing yourself is also another thing that comes into play here in dual speed and style.
Yeah, that's where riding your bike a lot, your fitness will come into itself here at the end of a day. Like you said, there's lots of rounds here, a lot of strategy, mental energy going into this. Some of these guys are crashing. That's not going to help. It's an impressive feat just getting themselves all the way here to the bronze medal matchup.
So run number one in the gate of our bronze medal matchup, a matchup that could potentially determine the overall if Greg Watts wins the gold in this individual event. Some nice sportsmanship here. Knuckles, as they put on their goggles, a world championship title on the line. No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, you wish, and I think they wish more than that. So Sam Reynolds buying himself some time here. Hopefully he's got no problem with the bike. Unfortunate to see these guys in the bronze medal matchup, but they still have a chance at this title. So they seem a lot closer to be locked and loaded here, Cam. Kyle Strait on your left-hand side of your screen. Sam Reynolds had a great Britain on your right.
It is on here. Ooh, Kyle Strait with a great start.
Kyle Strait. Oh no, another big mistake from Kyle Strait. That trick goes wrong again for him. That is probably going to be his title hopes out the window.
Kyle
Sam
Strait,
Reynolds.
after doing backflip bar spins all day long, having mistakes here at the end of the day. Maybe fatigue is playing a part, but Sam Reynolds, knowing that he had to throw caution to the wind, he got that backflip tail whip. It took him a little while to realize that Kyle Strait went down, but Sam Reynolds, one step closer to that overall title, but he still needs a lot of things to fall into place because it is not in his hands anymore.
No, it is. He's done everything he can, stomping that backflip tail whip when it really mattered, withstanding the pressure that was on his shoulders. Kyle Strait making his way down to the bottom, but unfortunately he's going to have that max differential. Let's not go down on a showboating run either, though, Cam.
Well, we saw that last year.
Wow, he is really fast to the rollers. Unfortunately, that is going to probably be all she wrote here for Kyle Strait.
Anything can happen. Sam Reynolds could go down, as we talked about earlier. It's so hard to take it easy. When you know that all you have to do is cross the finish line, sometimes you take it too easy, make a dumb mistake.
So Kyle Strait with a good snap here. Let's see what happened, Cam. He goes for his backflip bar spin, and again, just missing that catch.
You know what? He pulled too hard on the flip also. Over-rotating that backflip means that you have to get both your hands onto the bars perfectly after catching them to be able to grab onto that rear brake. That would have been the only thing that could have saved him from looping out. We call it looping out when you go over the back of the bike right there, and if you hit the rear brake right about that moment when you're going to flip over, you can sometimes save it. But getting your hands back on the handlebars after a bar spin, it's not that easy.
No, it turns out it's not. Unfortunately, 2 runs in a row for Kyle Strait, missing that backflip bar spin. So he's going to get the max differential. As you see, Sam Reynolds, he's in yellow there. He's got the huge lead. But Greg Watts, Thomas Lemoine in your gold medal matchup here. Thomas Lemoine can take this title here tonight.
Run number 1 of the final here. Can Greg Watts get back on the podium? He was 3rd place in Innsbruck. Or will Thomas Lemoine get back on that top step? He was 1st in Innsbruck. Great start for both of these guys out here. What's the trick's going to be?
Oh! He gets it backflip to Sui no-hander from Greg Watts.
Backflip double bar spin for Lemoine. A backflip bar spin is suicide for Greg Watts. The judges are going to have to figure out what to do with that.
Oh, Thomas Lemoine is late on that turn. That's caught out Tyler McCall and others, but he gets the 360 double bar spin, Thomas Lemoine, but he needs to push and get some ground made up here.
Watts looking insanely fast and stomping all of his unthinkable combos right now, crossing the finish line 1.4 ahead of Thomas Lemoine.
The experience is really paying dividends here for Greg Watts, your pick before we started this broadcast.
It is not very often that you see Thomas Lemoine crossing that finish line 2nd or being out-tricked. And right now, I mean, we're going to look back at the replays, but Greg Watts looked absolutely flawless there in the tricks that he was doing. We're going to need slow motion to even be able to wrap our heads around it.
So Thomas Lemoine making a mistake in that super tough corner. I mean, he still gets around the gate, but he's so late, losing a lot of speed there.
Greg Watts so far ahead there, we didn't even catch him on that replay, but I believe that was the backflip bar spin to bar spin back on the 2nd jump. He got the backflip bar spin to Sui on the 1st jump. And just flawless on the race portion, but you're right. You said those black gates on the bottom of the course seem to be easier on the white side than they are on the black side, so once we switch...
It really does seem that way on those gates.
Here we go, the backflip double bar spin from Lemoine and the backflip bar spin to suicide no-hander. We don't have enough time in this broadcast for me to break down and explain to you how technically difficult that backflip bar spin to Sui is, and the judges love it. They give a 95 for that trick, a 90 for the 2nd jump. Well, Needles, we're on pins and needles right now. I didn't even mean to say that.
Hey, pun intended
there.
But
take a look. We have 2 more runs in this competition, and the overall will be determined after these 2 runs. Greg Watts against Thomas Lemoine, Kyle Strait against Sam Reynolds. In a few short minutes, we will have a Dual Speed and Style 2018 overall champion. Don't go away.
We're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Love the feeling of being truly awake. Well, Andrew Needling, it all comes down to this. For our lovely viewers at home, break down the scenario we have on hand right now.
Well, we're here at the dual speed and style. Our two title leaders there, Sam Reynolds, on screen, is going up against Kyle Strait. If he can go on to take that bronze medal, he still has a shot at the title because Greg Watts, who's leading in the big final, if he would win, he would just be the spoiler alert and Sam Reynolds would win that title. But if Thomas Lemoine can drag it back and take that big gold medal, Thomas Lemoine will be your series champion.
So Lemoine with his destiny in his own hands right now, but Greg Watts, his name is lit up in yellow. He's looking unstoppable right now. Before we get into that gold medal round, this is the bronze medal round between Sam Reynolds and Kyle Strait. Kyle Strait going down in their first run together, over-rotating that backflip bar spin. So the maximum differential, no, it's only 7.71 right now. He must have got back up on his bike and crossed the finish line before the max differential. Not sure how that's possible, but right now, battling for a bronze medal.
Yeah, that's just got a lot more pressure on Sam. He's got to keep it together. Stock backflip for him.
So both riders opting out of a variation there. Kyle Strait, we understand why he decided not to do a variation. Sam playing it smart, knowing that Kyle has to make up 7 seconds.
Man, still taking some risks with that spin. Now he just needs to keep it together through these gates, but he should. No, he doesn't need to push hard at all. And that should be it. He's done all he can there. Sam Reynolds keeping it tidy. We would safely assume that's a bronze medal for him. He's literally done all he can considering making the mistake earlier, but Kyle Strait luckily also making a mistake and not advancing to the final.
So Kyle Strait knowing that after that crash in run number 1, he would have to be flawless and keep his fingers crossed that Sam Reynolds would have a similar mistake. But Sam Reynolds also flawless. So we'll go through the formality of scoring these tricks, but we are almost 100% certain that Sam Reynolds will be taking that bronze medal. Now to get his insight on this situation, let's send it down to the third member of our team, Michaela Gatto.
All right, first of all, congratulations on the bronze medal today.
Thank you.
But did you know you are still in contention for winning the overall?
Not really, no.
All right, let me break it down for you here. So if Thomas Lemoine wins, he wins the overall. If Greg Watts wins, you win the overall. So my question to you is, who are you cheering for in this next round?
No comment. Did you guys set this up or something?
No, man, today's been crazy.
Yeah, I'm not really overly proud of those wins. I think people just looked at number 1 and just kept falling off, really. I mean, yeah, it's not the best way to win, but got to be in it to win it.
You did seem to have a bit of a lucky bubble around you today, but let's just hope this final round sees you in the #1 spot.
Thanks.
No problem.
Well, thanks, Michaela. With a world championship on the line, Sam Reynolds has done all that he could do, everything in his power to secure that spot. His last run of the season just finished, and now he gets to become a fan rooting for Greg Watts, who's ahead of Thomas Lemoine by 1.47 seconds, rolling into the last round of our competition tonight and the last round of the 2018 season.
It's all down to this, folks at home. Wow, double bar spin backflip from Thomas Lemoine.
And the backflip bar spin back from Greg Watts.
So they should even each other pretty much on the points there. It's down to speed here. But Greg Watts has ground on Thomas Lemoine from the first run.
Oh, Greg only getting a straight backflip right here. That's going to hurt him, but remember, he has that advantage, so do not miss a gate here, Greg Watts. Yeah, Thomas Lemoine across the finish line, 1.46 ahead of Greg Watts, which is similar to the differential after run #1. But this is going to be close.
It is going to be close, and Thomas Lemoine, you would think, has him on tricks. Oh no, Cam, I have a sneaky feeling that might not be enough.
Very surprised to see Greg only get that straight backflip on the second jump.
So Thomas Lemoine had 1.47 to make up. He's just made 1.46 in speed, and now they're going to throw in the points from the jumps.
Well, a lot of pressure on the judges right now, because if Lemoine wins this race, if he upsets that differential that was held by Greg Watts, he will be the world champion. Take a look back at the replay.
Unfortunately, not making the big trick here. Holding his own hand speed, getting through this turn clean. It was a tough turn all evening, taking down some riders.
Looked like he had the speed too. I'm not sure what happened.
Was he taking it too easy, thinking he had that differential from the first matchup? Those black gates are tougher, that we know, coming down this final straight.
Well, Thomas Lemoine stomping both of his tricks that have been scoring so high all day. The World Championship for the 2018 Dual Speed and Style Crankworx title right now, coming down to these scores. The backflip double bar spin for Thomas Lemoine, scoring 90. The backflip bar spin back from Greg Watts, scoring the 95, but it's going to be all about this last jump here. Lemoine scoring a 90, Greg Watts only scoring a 40. Now that they calculate them in to the time, Lemoine wins the gold medal today and the Dual Speed and Style World Championship for the 2018 Crankworx World Tour season. Well, as Thomas Lemoine absorbs all this information, we're going to stick a microphone in his face. Get in there, Michaela.
All right, so you just won today, but did you know you also just became the Dual Speed and Style World Champion?
Actually not, because I just did one Speed and Style this year, so I was like, there's no way I can, and that's cool.
But you did.
Yeah, that's it.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Double wins.
Yeah.
Oh man, big day for Thomas Lemoine at the beginning of a big festival, 10-day stint for him. He'll be back for pump track. He'll be back for slopestyle. And don't forget, he's also adding up all of his points from the entire season for that King of Crankworx overall title, which he's currently sitting in second place on. This has got to help.
He's just jumped up that series, but my word, kind of came in. We didn't speak about him a lot. But man, did he sneak up in there and just take the whole thing. But that shows you they really do give you a bonus when you go on to win these events.
Well, make sure you tune in tomorrow. It's going to be all about the Camelback Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. If you're in the Pacific Daylight Time zone, join us around 5:30. Check your local listings. Don't miss that. One of the most relatable forms of competition out there. It's trail riding, a whole lot of it. Battling that clock. So I know what you're wondering right now. What does this do to Thomas Lemoine's king chances? Well, take a look. He is now only 40 points behind Sam Blankensop. This is going to be an interesting week.
Yeah, so hopefully Sam Blankensop can get himself on a plane, get him here as soon as he can. But Sam has a lot of events this week. He's got Garbanzo, he's got Air DH, he's got Canadian Open. But Thomas Lemoine has still 2 events that he's strong in. He's got pump track and he's got slopestyle.
So it is far from over right now, but the plot has thickened for the king title. Right now, we give away our first World Championship. Congratulations, Thomas Lemoine. Join us tomorrow for more action and day after day here. Crankworx Whistler 2018. Tons of competition to come for you. Don't miss a minute.